Hi everyone, Arlene here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner and Arlene's Travels. How in the world are you guys doing today? It is so good to see you again, and thank you so much for stopping back by to see what I'm up to. And what I'm up to today is I'm going to talk to you about Princess Cruises Alaska Cruisetours. I get so many questions about the cruise tours, and I have one video out there that I made a long time ago that I really did on the fly one day that I want to update today. And I want it to be a more updated, more succinct video. So I'm just going to start talking kind of in bulleted point fashion throughout this video so that you guys can really get an idea of what Princess Cruises offers, and where I can point you to get many FAQs and to gather your facts about your cruise tour, which I highly encourage. You know, I always say, please, at least for your first Alaska cruise, get yourself a nice travel agent who has been to Alaska and who has done an Alaska cruise tour, and that they have the Princess training. I am not a travel agent, you guys. I'm just not a travel agent. I'm just a vlogger here who has happened to travel to Alaska and who has, you know, a way of remembering things and looking information up. And because I've been working in these Facebook groups for so long, I have this information in my head all the time. And if I don't, I can I know where to refer. So I want to give you guys the tools today. I want to give you guys the tools to be successful, to have a successful cruise tour with Princess. I don't know about other cruise lines and about if they offer land tours. I know Holland America does, but I don't know about Holland America tours, so I'm not going to speak to that. I'm going to keep it to Princess Cruises. So first, let me start by telling you there are two different land tours that you can do through Princess Cruises. You can either do them before your cruise or after your cruise. It's very easy to search for a cruise tour on the Princess website as well. All you need to do is go to the website and then pull down the, search for a cruise or plan your cruise and go to Cruise Tours, and then it'll give you Alaska, and then it will show you all the different tours that you can take. There are many different tours that you guys can take through Princess. They all vary in number of days and in number of nights at certain lodges. They have 5 what they call Princess Wilderness lodges, one in Fairbanks, one in Denali, one in, they call it McKinley Princess Wilderness Lodge, which is near Talkeetna, one in Copper River, and one in Kenai. And these tours, will put you, say, 2 nights in Fairbanks, 2 nights in Denali, 1 night in McKinley, 1 night in Kenai. You don't have to go to all the lodges. You can pick and choose which lodges you would prefer. I encourage you to Google them, to read about the different lodges, There is so much information that that is just thrown at you when you try to do a land tour, you guys. So that's kind of the synopsis about a cruise tour. Now let's break it down a little bit more. How about let's talk about the 2 different times that you can take this tour. Of course, they offer the land tour throughout the cruising season. I suggest you do not go until almost second week in June is when I would schedule mine. I wouldn't want to go too much before that. I wouldn't want to be the first or second tour of the season. They're just getting up and going. Not everything is open the way it should be up in the inside part of Alaska. It's hard to get up and running. They still had snow up there at Denali when they were up in Denali this year. I mean, there was still snow they were having to shovel off the sidewalks, you guys. So, give that snow a little bit of time to melt a little bit. Okay, there are 2 cruises on which you can attach a land tour. The first is a northbound Voyage of the Glaciers cruise. It starts in Vancouver, British Columbia, and ends in Whittier, which is about an hour and a half away from Anchorage, Alaska. You would do your cruise tour you would do the tour part of your cruise tour after you did that cruise. Then for the second one, you would start your land tour first, And then you would get on your ship in Whittier and then cruise south to Vancouver, hence the southbound Voyage of the Glaciers. I prefer the southbound Voyage of the Glaciers. I prefer doing the land portion first because you do a lot on land. There's a lot of moving parts to land. You're moving yourself from lodge to lodge every day or so. There's just a lot that goes on with the land tour. By the time you get on the ship, for me anyway, I need a little time to just kind of kick back and relax a little bit and go, shoo, that was wonderful, but my goodness, I'm tired, you know. Not to mention, I prefer the 2 scenic cruising options better on the southbound. I prefer them over the northbound. The 2 scenic days on the southbound Voyage of the Glaciers are Hubbard Glacier, which is a 7-mile wide, 300 or 400 foot high glacier, massive, huge, gorgeous, advancing glacier one day. And then the next day you see Glacier Bay, which is my happiest of happy places. The 2 scenic cruising opportunities on the northbound are Glacier Bay, again, and College Fjord. Now, College Fjord is beautiful, and you see tons and tons and tons of tidewater glaciers and hanging glaciers, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but I prefer to see Hubbard, big and large and in charge, than I do to see a lot of smaller glaciers. Harvard Glacier being the largest in College Fjord. So it's just a personal choice. It's a personal choice whether you want to do land before or after the cruise and so on. But we prefer, as I said, because of the scenic cruising opportunities on the southbound, and also we prefer to start our tour the furthest point away from our home here in Virginia. So if I was going to do a land tour, I would start in Fairbanks and do 2 nights in Fairbanks. I would do 2 nights in Denali. I would do 2 nights in McKinley, and I would do 2 nights in Kenai. And that would be about the longest land tour that they offer pretty much. And of course they can break it up in different nights to do all the lodges if you would rather. But that is what the Alaska and Cruises on Princess Cruise Facebook group did this year, and I could not do it this year. And I watched them go through it, and it was just wonderful. It looked just wonderful. So that's the one I would like to do. It looks like Barb and Don and Chris and I, though, might be doing our own land tour next year and do that on our own and do a northbound, get off, do a land tour, and then do a southbound back again. That would be our dream vacation. Anyway, with all of that said, and the reason too is I always say this in the groups. The reason I want to start the furthest away is because I'm really excited to go at the beginning of a cruise or a cruise tour in that case. You know, so I want to get on that plane and I want to be excited to go, and I don't care how long it's going to take me to get there, and I don't care if it's a little arduous, you know, the journey is a little arduous or I have a hiccup here or there, you know, I'm excited to go. I want to get to Alaska. I want to do, you know, go to my happy place. And, you know, whereas when I get back to Vancouver, it's like, oh, you know, the flight home is like, oh, it's almost a chore. I don't want to go to the airport. I don't want to go back home. You know, and of course that's a shorter flight. So it's a little easier to, little less of a bitter pill to swallow, you know, unless I had to go from Fairbanks home, for instance. Okay, so with all of that said, I wanted to point you to the FAQs, Alaska Cruise Tours sheet that Princess offers. And I will give you a link for this entire FAQs. It is amazing the amount of information that they fit in here, and it is amazing about how few people know about these FAQs, or that they exist, or that they can go and educate themselves with these FAQs. 1, because their travel agents don't know about them. 2, because maybe Princess doesn't advertise them as much as they should or could, or for whatever reason, you know. So I'm going to give this to you. I want you to take the time. Please don't get overwhelmed. Please don't get overwhelmed and go, I can't. It will behoove you to know this information. It will, you know, always go into anything you do in life, of course, knowing as much as you can, you know, and then learn as you go. But anyway, these FAQs, and I'm going to put up a little video I did this morning. It's just a minute long as I'm talking here. Go through everything, your flight guidelines, and, you know, they go through accessibility, which I didn't even know about. I just read through this morning. I think they've changed this, or maybe they haven't, and I just never read it because it didn't pertain to me, you know. But you can call the Special Needs at Sea website, and you can, you know, pre-reserve a wheelchair, or you can get a scooter pre-reserved, and, you know, please put your request in writing and fax it to Princess Access Office at blah, 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 at least 30 days prior to your travel. You need to be proactive if you want to, you know, help yourself in an accessible way on the land portion and on the cruise portion, both. So, you know, and then they go into on land in Alaska, and they talk about time zone and currency and expenses on land and gratuities. You know, and then they talk about electricity information, and they talk about cell phone coverage and traveling with children and climate and what to take, altitude, you know, your location. They tell you where you are, you know, you're 4,068 feet to and from Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. Your altitude is that, you know, can you imagine? Then insects, they talk to you about that. Take measures to avoid being bitten by insects and wear light-colored, loose-fitting clothing that covers your arms and legs. Regularly apply an insect repellent. Wildlife encounters. They even tell you about wildlife encounters. Prepaid Alaska meal plans. They now offer meal plans. They didn't offer that when we went. Prepaid land excursions. You can go in and you can set up yourself a bunch of land excursions. Wonderful stuff. They tell you what to bring, kind of give you a packing list even, you know. And then the most important thing that we're going to talk about here today is luggage. Everybody gets really nervous about luggage and how Princess deals with their luggage. And I explain this and explain this and explain this, and this is the main reason why I'm making this video, is so that when the next time I get asked a question, which will probably be in about 5 minutes, I will be able to put up this video. I did another one similar a while back, but I really did it on the fly, and I'm not as happy with that as I know more now, and I can be, I'm a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera nowadays. But we're going to talk through the luggage right now. And there's also a couple other bulletin points, but we're going to talk through the luggage, you know. And it says all Princess Cruise Tours, including our hassle-free luggage handling service every step of the way during the land portion of your vacation, will take care of transporting your luggage from one location to the next. Now, that said, and then they give you important luggage reminders, which you can read through that yourself. But it says here, packing for your land tour. Cruise tours involve many modes of transportation, including motor coaches, trains, and sightseeing vehicles. So make sure you take only the things you need to ensure comfort for you and your fellow travelers. There are different types of bags to consider for the land portion of your cruise tour. Hand carry tote, or backpack. It says you'll want this bag with you every step of the way, so include only essentials. Items to pack in this bag include travel documents, photo ID, important medications, toiletries, camera, and any extra layers of clothing such as a jacket or hats. Your hand-carry tote bag should be a size that is comfortable to carry, that's important, to carry, and should be able to be stowed under your seat. We recommend soft-sided tote bags or backpacks, no larger than 17 by 14 by 4 with a zip enclosure. Wheeled carry-on cases that are used to carry on luggage on airlines are too large and are not suitable as hand-carried luggage on motor coaches and trains. So they're talking about what's not appropriate is one of these. This is a 21-inch spinner. You know, it has the spinner wheels. This is something that I would stow in the above my head compartment on a jet. These won't work. Because for one thing, you're climbing up steps to get to the top portion of your train. There's no place to store this stuff. And they tell you that wheeled carry-on cases that are used to carry on luggage on airlines are too large and are not suitable. That doesn't seem to matter to some people. They say, I don't care what they say, I'm going to take what I want. Well, you know, and of course, Princess, the people on the ground are going to go, okay, well, here's this person showing up with this piece of luggage or whatever. what am I going to do? You know, they're not going to make a big stink. They're going to try to make the customer happy. But let's not put Princess in that situation, you know? So this is the bag that I take. This is, I'll have to look up and I'll type here exactly what the measurements are for my campus backpack. This is the bag I take, but the only thing is I don't pack it like full. I want it to be able to be smushed a little bit and to be able to slide underneath the bus or the train seat in front of me. Let me back up and talk about, so this is my bag. This is what I would take. This is definitely what I would take. And this would be about as full as I would want it to be. I don't want it to be stocked full of stuff and be hard as a rock and then not be able to smush it at all to get it under the seat. Now the train wouldn't be, there are two different train cars that you could be put in. I don't even know if there's a way to know before your tour which train you'd be put in. We were put in two different trains. Princess and Holland America share train cars. Princess is in the process of changing over all of their train cars to forward seating, only forward seating arrangements. Holland Americas are already like that, but Princess does have some train cars that have like a booth configuration. And y'all, you really don't have room when you're in that configuration. You have to put your bag underneath your, kind of under your legs or under the table. If you have 4 people sitting at a booth, just picture trying to fit 4 backpacks or 4, you know, full big fat backpacks. Yes, you can set them up on the table, but you know, you want to have your table kind of free anyway to play cards, eat a snack, have a drink, you know, whatever. So this is why they just don't say to bring just a backpack or a tote bag of some sort over a 21-inch, you know, 21-inch suitcase. They know what they're talking about, you know. They just don't say that to make it hard for you, you know. So let's move on from the carry and tote. The join, now you're going to be given at the very beginning of your cruise tour, or if you're doing your cruise tour if you're doing your cruise tour after your cruise, you will receive a packet of information while still on your cruise. That will provide you with 2 different types of luggage tags. One will be join me tonight, and then one will be join me in Fairbanks or Anchorage. If you do your cruise tour before your cruise, you will receive that packet of information at your first night on your tour. And you will also get join me tonight tags and join me on board tags. The difference in the 2 luggage tags is this. You can only take one. It says here, you are allowed, not that we recommend, not that we suggest, not that we this, you are allowed. Those are the words. You are allowed 1 piece of join me tonight baggage per person on the land portion of your cruise tour. You will simply pack 1 bag and place luggage where instructed. They tell you everything, you guys. I'm trying to waylay your fears, but don't worry. They take wonderful care of you. They really do. Place luggage where instructed. Our handlers will pick it up and deliver it to your room at the next overnight location on your land tour. So the join me tonight luggage tag will go on that 1 piece of luggage, and it can be of any size, you guys. It can be like I have over here sitting, move that little one, my 28-inch spinner. There it is. That 1 piece of luggage can be as large as that suitcase. That is the largest suitcase I take on my cruises. That is a 28-inch spinner. And your 1 piece of luggage that you're allowed to take on your cruise tour can be that large. You just can't take 2 per person or 3 per person. One suitcase per person. And if you happen to have more luggage than that piece of luggage and your backpack or your tote bag, then that is the piece of luggage that you will send on to the ship or you will send on to your last lodge in your land tour. and it will have the other luggage tag, either the join me on board or the join me in Fairbanks/Anchorage, wherever your land tour is ending. So let's recap. The only 2 bags that you're allowed to take on your land tour are a hand-carried tote bag or backpack and 1 suitcase of any size only limited by your airline, and weight limited by your own, by being respectful to the princess porters. Let's not go over 50 pounds like we don't at the airports, which I'm sure you won't, because that's what you have to pack it to get it, if you don't want it to go over, you don't have to pay overage fees. So those are the most important facts to know. I may sound a bit frustrated if you hear that in my voice a little bit, just because I get frustrated with people who think that they can do just what they want, and you should, who does that? Who does that when it's right in black and white here? Now, I understand if they didn't know, if they weren't over informed and they didn't know, and they absolutely didn't know and are apologetic when they get there and they go, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I could only do just 1 suitcase. I'm really sorry, I apologize. And they're contrite, But if they knew, for sure, if they know, and I have had people in several Facebook groups say, I don't care, I just did what I want, and they didn't care. And of course, like I said, on the ground, they're not going to give you a hard time because they don't want to make a stink, and they want you to have a great time, and they don't want to cause you angst when you are causing them angst by taking, all that luggage with you. So just send it to the ship. Send it to the ship. Some important little things I've learned. Please don't pack your laptop or your iPad or your medications, especially important medications that you need to take out of on a 4-hourly basis or something like that. Always carry that type of thing in your backpack or your tote bag with you, along with pertinent paperwork, your package of information that they give you, a snack. Always take a snack with you. You never know, if your bus is going to break down or the train will break down. We had a generator problem on our train, and we almost didn't quite get to our cruise ship when we thought we would. Because going through Whittier, the train, all cars, the train, everything goes through a one-way tunnel that they switch directions every half hour. So, our conductor was stressed because he was afraid he wasn't going to get us to the port, which he got us there, thank goodness. But, you just never know when something is going to happen. Just use your common sense, though. Use your common sense to take, like I say, important information, important medications, that kind of thing with you, and a snack and water, a couple of bottles of water or something with you. So I guess that's really the most important things that I wanted to touch on in this video. And as I said, I will provide you a link to these Alaska Cruise Tour FAQs. And please, please, please take the opportunity, if you need a little bit of light reading, and to help you get prepared to read through these FAQs. Educate yourselves as to what is expected and allowed. And, let's follow the rules, you guys. Let's not make a stink. Let's not get ugly about anything. And let's not be stubborn about wanting to have all of our luggage with us. The things you're going to send to the ship or would be like your formal wear. You're not going to need that on the land tour. The land tour is very, very, very casual. Jeans, I always take just black slacks everywhere, but jeans, you can certainly wear jeans and sweatshirts and, a light jacket, a rain jacket. There are gift stores, gift shops at all of the lodges. Anyway, I could go on and on and on, and I could just talk a blue streak between now and Christmas about all of this stuff, but I'm not going to go into every single bulleted point and read through it. I've given you the highlights, and I've given you the most important information that I'm asked about all the time. People really stress over their luggage, And I understand. I totally get it. I totally get it. They stress over wardrobe and they stress over the luggage. And I totally get it. The weather in Alaska is ever changing. I always say that Alaskans say, you know, if you don't like what the weather's doing right now, wait 5 minutes and it'll change, you know. So layers are the key to success, and you do not need formal wear on a land tour. So leave that in your send to the ship, or leave it in your ship if you're doing your land tour after your cruise. Leave your formal wear in that suitcase and send that suitcase on to Fairbanks or Anchorage, wherever your land tour is ending. You don't need formal wear. You don't need formal wear shoes. You don't need that kind of thing. You know, depending on the length of your cruise tour, there are laundry facilities, at least I know, at Denali and McKinley, and you can check online and see if it isn't at Kenai and Copper River and Fairbanks too. I'm not sure, but I know at Denali, at the Denali establishment, and at the McKinley establishment, there are definitely laundry facilities that you can do laundry if you need to, you know. So keep all that in mind, and don't stress, and let Princess take it off of your shoulders. Just go armed. I'm trying to arm you with information, you guys. It's always better to know. It's always better to know and know what to expect, kind of, you know. And Princess has given it to us. It's just, for whatever reason, a lot of people don't see these FAQs. So now you will have them, and you can arm yourself with information, and you can be ready to go on your cruise tour. And I wish you guys the best journey. I'm telling you. Sorry. I just love Alaska. I just love it. Interior, you know, on a cruise, or the interior, I love Alaska in every way, shape, or form. And, you know, so put all of this superfluous stuff out of your mind. Educate yourselves, then move on, and look forward to the trip of a lifetime, you guys. You're going to see things that are going to climb into your heart. They're going to last. They're going to stay there forever. They're going to make an indelible little space in your heart, and you will never forget. I'm telling you, you will never forget some of the sights and the sounds in Alaska. It is amazing, and it will call you back. I promise. It will call you back, like it has me time and time again, and Chris too. So anyway, all right, y'all, I'm going to hush. I'm going to go into my final words. Hopefully you've gained a little bit of knowledge watching this video. Again, check the description box for the link for the FAQs, and do take a minute to read through them. All righty, you guys. Let me go into my final words and say, please subscribe if you would to either my Country Craft Corner channel or my Arlen's Travels channel, or both if you want to. It's free. It's free. Click the notification bell so you never miss one of my uploads, and hit the like, and all of that will help me and my channels grow. I'd sure appreciate it. And for those of you who might be struggling or suffering with a catastrophic illness or chronic pain, I hope that you have someone there with you, taking care of you, helping you get through each day, making the very, very best out of each day. I hope there's nothing weighing on your minds or your hearts, pulling your attention away from where you want it to be or from where it should be. I love y'all to bits, to bits, to bits. Hugs all around, and I keep you in my thoughts and my prayers every single day. And with all that said, I'll just say, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.